Now at 6, we look at voter turnout at polling places in Joplin, Pittsburgh, and Miami. Plus, we examine what's driving voters to the polls, and we hear from the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons on their upcoming playoff matchup against the Mill Valley Jaguars.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
It's midterm election day, and there's 1 hour left to get to the polls. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. Local, state, and federal positions are on the ballot. There's also constitutional amendments in Kansas and Missouri, and that's where we start tonight. KOAM's Jalen Banks joins us live at St. Paul's Church, one of Joplin's largest voting precincts.
Well, all right, thank you, Dow. Well, Missouri voters made the decision on 4 proposed constitutional amendments, and one of those motivated many voters to head to the polls. It will give Missouri voters the option to end prohibitions on marijuana within the state and allow recreational use for individuals 21 and older.
Definitely wanted to come in and vote yes on the marijuana issue. Wanted to get that recreationally legalized.
And again, if you haven't gotten out to vote, you have just under an hour to do so because polls close at 7. And later, we're going to head over to the watch party of one candidate for the U.S. House of Representatives tonight at 10. At St. Paul's Church in Joplin, reporting live, Jalen Banks.
Jalen, thanks. Republican Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmitt is hoping to claim what's considered a safe GOP seat as his party fights for control of the U.S. Senate. Schmitt and Democrat Trudy Bush Valentine are vying for the Senate seat occupied for the past 12 years by Republican Roy Blunt, who announced in March of 2021 he would not seek a third term, ending a half-century career in politics. Neither major party expects Kansas Republican Jerry Moran to have any trouble winning a third term to the U.S. Senate in today's election. Moran faces Democrat Mark Holland, the former mayor of Kansas City, Kansas, but was seen as about as safe as any incumbent GOP senator could be because of the state's traditional Republican leanings. This year's election marks 90 years since a Democrat won a U.S. Senate race in Kansas. KOAM's Amber Jenkins joins us live from a polling place, Countryside Christian Church in Pittsburgh.
Candidate races are not the only thing Kansas voters are deciding tonight. Kansans are hitting the polls with less than an hour left to vote. If passed, the Constitutional Amendment 1 would allow the state legislature to pass laws by a simple majority vote, revoking or suspending rules and regulations adopted by the executive agencies or officers, including the governor. Constitutional Amendment 2 would add the election of a county sheriff to the state constitution. These amendment rights in different races are bringing the voters to the polls.
Well, every year is important to get out and vote. It's important to voice your opinion, and that's how we do it. So it's the most effective way to have the government change, and so.
The results will reflect the voices of the voters in Kansas. Reporting live from Countryside Christian Church in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Amber, thanks. Voters in Oklahoma are coming out in droves to elect their next governor and senators. ACLU of Oklahoma says there were issues at some Oklahoma polling stations where workers supposedly told voters to vote straight party. KOAM's Carrie Worthen is in Miami and has more.
I'm here in Miami, Oklahoma at Friends Church, which is one of many sites that you can vote at here in Miami. I talked to the workers inside and they said that there's been no issues with anything that's been going on today. They were here since 7 a.m. and then they will be here till 7 p.m. tonight. If you want to find out more information about the election or the results, you can go to our website at KOAM News Now/elections. In Miami, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
All county election boards were contacted, which have in turn called and reminded their poll workers that they may not tell voters how to vote or who to vote for. In an unusual twist this election cycle, both of Oklahoma's U.S. Senate seats will be on the ballot. Senator Jim Inhofe shook up the state's political scene by announcing this year that he planned to step down before his term was finished. Oklahoma Republican U.S. Representative Marquayne Mullen is seeking that seat. The Democrat in that race is former U.S. Representative Kendra Horn, an Oklahoma City attorney. 2 other candidates also in that race. In Oklahoma's other U.S. Senate race, incumbent Republican James Lankford is facing a challenge from political newcomer Madison Horn, a cybersecurity industry professional. Lankford faced an unsuccessful primary challenge from a Tulsa pastor who criticized Lankford for seeking to delay certification of President Joe Biden's election victory in 2020. We're also watching some big races in Arkansas tonight. That includes the governor's race, state attorney general, and U.S. Senate. Arkansas, like Missouri, is also deciding whether to legalize recreational marijuana. Let's take a breather now. Check in with Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it actually turned out to be a fairly warm day for us today. Temperatures warmed up into the upper 60s to near 70 degrees, and we just aren't going to drop off too much more as we go through the evening hours. Look at this. Most of us mid 60s to near 70 degrees still outside. Of course, it's dark. We do have a lot of clouds across the region. Any showers we had earlier today, these are gone. These have lifted up across north central parts of Missouri. So as we go through the overnight, a lot of clouds. Look at our temps. We just barely drop off. Eventually down to about 61 degrees a little bit later on tonight. As we go through the rest of the week, it's still going to stay warm and windy as we go into tomorrow. Thunderstorm chances on Thursday, much colder weekend, another system moving in, a couple systems next week, so we'll break it all down for you here in just a bit.
See you soon. This morning, authorities received reports about a tractor trailer jackknifed in the median on the I-49 South Curve near Civil War Road, exit 55. Missouri State Highway Patrol reports there were no injuries. The Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency announced that U.S. Army Air Force Staff Sergeant David E. Holman of La Harpe, Kansas, who was captured and died as a prisoner of war during World War II, was accounted for on August 23rd. But his family just recently received a full briefing on his identification. In late 1941, Holman was a member of the 17th Pursuit Squadron's 24th Pursuit Group when Japanese forces invaded the Philippine Islands in December. Holman will be buried April 23rd next year in Independence, Kansas. Still ahead, we're going to take a look at what's driving voters to the polls all across the country, and later we'll hear from the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons as they look ahead to their upcoming playoff matchup. A lot of election experts think this year's midterms will set voter turnout records. What's driving this surge? Well, concerns over inflation and crime top the list for Republicans. For Democrats, restoring abortion rights might have lost its motivational punch. Christian Benavides talked to voters and breaks it down.
When Tony Bergida, the chair of the Kansas Young Republicans, cast an early vote, he had one issue top of mind.
Over the last 2 years, our grocery bill has risen from $400 a month to about $1,200 right now.
Crime is another pressing issue for many Republicans. Peter Eith travels the country selling security systems.
I do see a lot of crime increase since COVID, I feel like. People are just living in fear. People are scared.
Republican leaders predict concerns over crime and inflation will lead to a massive red wave on Election Day. And while the economy is also a concern for Democrats, many feel driven by abortion rights overturned by the Supreme Court this summer.
The biggest issue is women being able to have the right to do whatever we want to with our bodies.
But Democrats fear fewer voters are focused on abortion rights, so their messaging is pivoting to Republican threats of dismantling Social Security and Medicare. For Portland student Brian Montes, he feels after the January 6th attack, democracy's on the ballot.
We can't really fix climate change. We can't help the healthcare system. We can't bring relief to students across this country until we have faith in our democracy.
Election experts say that when all the votes are counted, the most important issue will be buy-in from voters. For democracy to work, there has to be trust that election systems can produce accurate and honest outcomes. CBS News Elections and Surveys Director Anthony Salvanto says voters should expect election certification delays because vote counting takes time.
Going slow doesn't mean it's wrong or doesn't mean there's any problems. It's just patience.
There could be many races that could take days to finalize. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Tampa, Florida.
A little bit later, we're going to hear from the Kansas City Chiefs on their overtime victory over the Titans and look ahead to their game against the Jaguars.
Plus, after a little bit of rain for us today, more rain chances in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, we had some scattered showers, even a few scattered little thunder showers out there earlier today, especially on the Kansas into the Oklahoma side of the four-state area. But all that rain is gone. Of course, it's dark, which you could see on our Lander Chevrolet Tower Cam. Looking at I-44 east and westbound traffic. But all those showers, those have raced out of here. You can see a lot of clouds across the region. The clouds are going to kind of stick around tonight. We do have that lunar eclipse, but we're going to have mostly cloudy skies across the region. You can see the clouds just continuing to filter in. So not a whole bunch of sunshine over the next couple days, even though we'll see some as we go into Wednesday. Let's go outside. 57, Nevada 68 though in Monette. We have 67 in Miami, 63 in Chanute. Temperatures really aren't going to drop off much. I don't know what's going on with my tower cams tonight, but temperatures really aren't going to drop off much as we go through the rest of the evening hours. Look at this. We just kind of hold lower 60s. Eventually, we bottom out at about 61 a little bit later on tonight. We do have this weak little wave that rotated through for us today, but our next storm system is kind of building on the west coast. Let's drop south and east. We got Tropical Storm Nicole, which is going to move back across Florida and kind of end up right about where Ian ended up and then kind of lift off toward the north and to the east, and that fits right into the pattern because we're on a 45-day cycle this year. Here's our next storm system, and this will start to affect us by the time we head into Thursday, giving us some chances for showers and thunderstorms. So let's go ahead and step through time. Cloudy skies tonight, lower 60s. The winds start to pick up tomorrow. We're going to have south winds 10 to 20, but we're going to have gusts a little bit higher than that. So watch out for that. We do go into the 70s by the noon hour. You can see a random shower on the Missouri side during the afternoon. Most of us dry, most of us upper 70s as we go into Wednesday afternoon. Clouds continue to thicken as we go into tomorrow night and Thursday morning. Through the morning hours on Thursday, some scattered showers and thunderstorms start popping up in our western counties. Here's the noon hour. As we get into the afternoon, these scattered showers and thunderstorms continue to push east and actually expand a little bit in coverage. And some of these guys could be a little bit stronger, especially the farther north that you go. As we go through the evening hours, bands of showers and some thunderstorms working through. And then as we work into Thursday night and Friday morning, showers continue, especially along the I-44 corridor. Look at the temps. We're dropping through the 40s into the 30s, so there may even be a couple flakes of snow mixed in as this works out on Friday morning. Wednesday, warm, partly sunny skies as we go into the upper 70s during the afternoon, and rainfall amounts with this next system. Not as heavy as what we saw in some places last Friday, but still, I think on average, most areas are going to get a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, maybe an isolated inch of rain, which we still need. All right, 78 for us tomorrow, 74 on Thursday, then drastically colder. High of only 45 on Friday, down to 24 Saturday morning. We hold into the 40s all weekend long, so it's going to feel very chilly. Overnight lows, lower 20s, which is just downright cold.
You know, I unhooked my water hoses from the first freeze,
right,
but I've rehooked some of them.
I
better remember to do that before the weekend. Thanks, Douglas. Still ahead, a look at the Division II football regional rankings and where Pitt State lands with 1 week left in the regular season. And the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons prepare to face the defending state champions in the 5A quarterfinals. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
The Pittsburgh Purple Dragons are still alive in the 5A state football playoffs. The Pittsburgh hits the road this Friday to face Mill Valley in the state quarterfinals. The Purple Dragons shut out KC Sumner last week 28-0 to earn a regional title. And that win was the 7th win in the last 8 games for Pittsburgh. Now this one on Friday, no doubt, going to be a tough one for the Dragons facing the defending state champion Jaguars. But this team feeling better and better every week, and they're ready for the challenge on Friday night.
They're a good team. I think everyone knows that. Everyone in the state of Kansas knows that. but we're here to dethrone the Kings. That's how we roll. We're ready to go.
They're always top dogs. You know, they've won state the last couple of years, but why not us? Everybody at the start of the season was saying, you know, this is the worst team PHS has had in a couple of years, and you know, we go out and win a regional title, first time in 5 years. I mean, our confidence is up. We have a new head coach. Love him. Energy every day. Everybody's bought in. Everybody believes.
At the college level, here's a look at the Super Region 3 rankings this week. Now, Pittsburgh State was 2 last week. Now, they won, but still slipped down 1 spot to number 3. The Gorillas are 10-0 and will wrap up their regular season on Saturday, hosting Fort Hays State. Now, the number 1 team in the region gets a first-round bye in the playoffs. Top 7 make the playoffs with seeds 2, 3, and 4 hosting in the first round. The Kansas City Chiefs are 6-2 in their first 8 games of the season. This week, the Chiefs will be at home for the second straight game, hosting Jacksonville. Now, on Sunday night, quarterback Patrick Mahomes did about everything for Kansas City. He threw for 446 yards and a touchdown, but it was what he did with his legs that was the difference in the game. He was the team's leading rusher with 63 yards, and he ran in a touchdown and 2-point conversion late in the fourth quarter to send the game to overtime.
The fact that we had like 90 plays, and at the end of the 90 plays, he's running around like it was play 3, you know, I mean, and still being able to throw the football and control the huddle and do all the things you're supposed to do. He's not known, he didn't come out being known as a running quarterback that's fast and all that, but he's fast enough, and he just knows, he kind of knows when to do it.
And that's it for sports. We're back after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. We salute Dave Bauer of Miami. Bauer was a staff sergeant in the Air Force stationed in Vietnam. And we're proud to honor Dave Bauer, a 4-state hero. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We'll, of course, have the latest election results as they're made official. Plus, a visit to Neosho for an annual holiday tradition that raises money for students. And if you really like pickles, well, we're going to show you how to get a candle that smells and looks like a pickle jar. Those stories, a lot more. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Hey, and be sure to download the KOAM News app for all your election needs. You can also go to our website for election information, koamnewsnow.com/elections. The website and app will include live results for all of the 4-state voting races for Senate, Congress, amendments in Missouri and Kansas. We're also following lots of local races. Those include tax issues in some counties. Get those results on the app, online, and on KOAM News tonight at 9 and 10. We have a winner for that record $2.04 billion Powerball jackpot, and guess what? It's not you. After more than 3 months of the jackpot rising, the winning ticket was sold in Southern California. So maybe if you just got back from California, it is you. The winning numbers were selected this morning, nearly 10 hours after the scheduled drawing last night because of problems processing sales data from one of the game's member lotteries. Somebody winning that Powerball, that giant Powerball, actually saves me money. It means I don't have to keep buying a ticket.
Oh, I'm going to. I always do. Couple a week.
For some reason, it seems a lot more attractive when it's $2 billion than when it's only a few $100 million.
Well, I'll take $1 million or $2. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. The weather.
All right, a lot of clouds sticking around for us tonight. Warm. It's going to be windy tomorrow. 78. Chances for showers and thunderstorms in here on Thursday, and then drastically cooler as we head toward the weekend.
Like the tie.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
final sports note.
The Chiefs have the Jags this week with their game against the Chargers. The following week has been flexed into Sunday night, so that'll be a night game for the Chiefs.
Like some results throughout the evening. Let's make it a great one.